John Wayne B.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, look. Too hot to hate us, no they can't fade us. Headed to the top, just stay tuned for the latest. Soon as the episode drop, they gotta play us. All I know is we got the flavor.
What's up, it's your boy Los LOS for the Flava Podcast. You are listening and watching the Flava Podcast. Yo, today Liz is not here and Suli's not here. And the new addition, Jasmine, is not here either. But she wasn't supposed to be here, so neither was Liz. But Suli was, but it's okay. You know, we know what Suli's doing. She's working on her job, so that's why she's not here. Hope she's doing good. Hope everyone else is doing good as well. But I'm going to start with hot topics before we get to the guest. So my hot topic for today, and we might ask the guest also if he has a hot topic. We never know. They might have something on their mind that they're thinking about and what's going on in the world. But my hot topic, I'm just looking real quick, and I'm looking at The Breakfast Club. You guys know one of my mentors is Charlamagne the God. Met him before, whatnot, and he has spoken to me, and I follow a little bit of him. So right now, what they're talking about is Diddy. Wow, what about Diddy? It's hot topic time. So Diddy rejected a plea deal about the sex trafficking. He's saying, no, I'm not going for that sex trafficking plea deal, which probably would have got him out of jail because he's been trying to get out of jail on a bond, and the judge has been saying no. But as of right now, he was offered a plea deal, but he rejected it. So he's not going for it. He's saying, look, I'm just a freaky guy. I like freaking things, and I did no sex trafficking. I'm just freaky. So let me go because I'm just freaky. And that's something that's been on my mind. Are guys getting locked up now, or women getting locked up now just because they're freaky and they're calling it sexual stuff? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I want you guys to leave it in the comments down there. Let me know what you guys think. I'm curious to think about what you guys think, and I know a lot of people don't like Diddy. And if Diddy did something wrong, then he should be locked up. But if he didn't, and if he's just a freaky guy and likes baby oil on everything, let him have baby oil on everything. You know what I'm saying? But we will find out soon. They're supposed to have more cases. But Bugsby came up with another person, and it looks right now Bugsby, the lawyer Bugsby, right? It looks like now no one's really trusting him anymore. They threw out several cases of Bugsby already. So we'll see what happens with Bugsby in his cases and what happens to P. Diddy. But leave the comments below. I want to know what you guys think, all right? So right across from me right now, I have a guest that has a restaurant that I have not been to yet. But I hear so much about it in the last maybe 2-3 years. I've been hearing a lot about this restaurant. Melissa Dupre's been there. Mikey O's been there. Other artists from Chicago has been there. People, I'm pretty sure, from out of town have been there, and other artists. And we're going to find out from the owner that's in front of me. Me and him spoke a little bit earlier today, and I'm interested about this conversation we're about to have. I'm really interested. You know, I love entrepreneurs that are doing great things and have great victories, right? There's a struggle to this, right? Entrepreneurship, it's not easy in the beginning, you know? And if you could survive it and get on the other end, oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. It doesn't mean things are perfect, but we could bask in that glory and we could bask in that victory. So right now, you know what? I know his first name, but I don't know his last name. And we've been talking for like an hour, you know what I'm saying? But right across from me right now, I have this gentleman that is very well known.
I don't know about that.
Yes, he is. Omarcito. What's up, Omarcito?
How are you, brother? Blessings, man.
Is it Omarcito or is it Omar? It's Omar.
I mean, both. Omar, really. Yeah, it's Omar. Omarcito was just, it was the childhood name because my grandfather is also Omar. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I opened, actually, the reason that the restaurant is called Omarcito's has a lot to do because of Mikey O.
Because of Mikey O?
Well, yeah.
Really?
So Mikey O used to tell me back in the day, you need to... A lot of people used to, tell me all the time, go open up your own space, stop working for other people, stop making people their money. And then Mikey O said finally one day, when you open your own spot, you got to name it after you. And I was like, but no, it's going to be kind of weird. My name's Omar. It's a Middle Eastern name. It's an Arab name, What am I going to, I'm going to open up a Hispanic restaurant, Latino restaurant, and it's going to confuse people. So it came, it dawned upon me that because I am not technically a junior, but, I have the same name as Omarcito was always the name that was called, that was put on me. So I thought about what Mikey said, and I was like, all right, boom, it hit me. I'm going to call it Omarcitos.
Well,
But there's also the whole thing of the legacy in the neighborhood. You know, my grandfather had Omar's jewelry in Logan Square.
that was your.
That's my well, not any longer. He sold it in the mid '90s.
But that was his, though.
Yeah, he initiated that.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were one of the first few families to stake. Well, one of the first, if not the very first, to stake a flag in Logan Square as far as the Cuban exile community that existed.
Okay.
And not many people know this, but if you pay attention to Milwaukee Avenue, it says Honorary Jose Marti Drive, and Jose Marti was a Cuban revolutionary. So, and it was named that because of all the Cuban businesses that existed on Milwaukee Avenue, almost from California up to Central Park. My cousins are still up on La Joyería La Caridad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're I guess second or third cousins. They're my mom's first cousins. Sorry.
Yeah.
They're my mom's first cousins, but yeah.
Wow, you come with some history, brother.
Yeah. No, for sure.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's Omar. What is your last name, Omar?
Cadena.
Cadena, like a
Cadena,
chain.
like a chain.
Like a chain.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
that was the slave name my great-great-grandfather picked out from a chalkboard. That's
What?
That's how it was. That's how it was told to me. Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
So the story it wasn't explained too well to me, but apparently my tia said that what they were told was there was a group of indigenous people, my great-grandfather being part of that whole thing, and as they were coming up, they were told to pick a name. There were last names on a chalkboard, and you went and you pointed, and that was your last name. And Cadena was the one that was my great grandfather picked, I guess. And then
Wow.
on the Ecuadorian side.
Ecuadorian side.
Yeah. So I'm Cuban Ecuadorian. So my father's Ecuadorian, but from Guayaquil, which is the coastal city in Ecuador. So as with any other part in all of the world, anyone who's from the coast is always much more different than everyone from the interior. They have a different swagger. They speak different. They walk differently, hand gestures and in the whole nine, So Guayaquileños, the nickname is, everybody else in Ecuador calls them monos.
Okay.
They're related, tú eres mono, because it means you're a monkey. And basically because, they talk different, they got that, that salsa in them, you know what I mean?
So how many races are you?
Just Cuban Ecuadorian.
Okay.
Cuban Ecuadorian, but I was raised in Chicago, in between Albany Park and Logan Square and Humboldt Park. Those three neighborhoods can claim me, even though I say there's no one neighborhood that can claim me. Albany Park is where I spent, my first few years in life. I was born.
Okay.
I was born in that neighborhood, and so Kedzie and Lawrence can claim me.
And you serve what kind of food?
I call it Latino soul food because I wanted to do everything. I didn't, not necessarily everything, but I wanted to celebrate. I still do, and I still am. I wanted to celebrate what it is to be a Latino or a Hispanic, or call it what you want. There's so many explanations these days. I'm so lost.
I just keep it Latino.
Yeah, well, there's different explanations and this, that, and the other. Hispanic, Latino, call it what. I just think it's a beautiful thing, and I feel so blessed and honored and humbled to be a Hispanic Latino. And I think for the upbringing that I had in Albany Park and the multiculturalness that existed, you know what? And I've said this many times. I did not realize how messed up the world really was until I left Albany Park.
Explain that.
Well, number one, in the 80s, Albany Park was the most diverse neighborhood in the whole United States. Okay? Actual fact, somebody could fact check me on that. Somebody could fact check me on that. But if I'm not mistaken, because I've looked it up myself, Albany Park was the most diverse neighborhood in the 80s. It also happened to be the most diverse neighborhood in the most segregated city in the nation. So the irony of having those two things, most diverse neighborhood in the most segregated city in the nation. You know what I mean? That's so crazy. Two number ones, right? And I had the blessing of growing up in that neighborhood. I have pictures as a child in front of the fire hydrant that, the gangbangers in the neighborhood would always open up for us in the winter, in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
And there's one picture in particular of all the kids. It's at my mother's house in Florida, and every time I go down there, I find it, I put it aside, I'm like, I'm going to take it with me, and then I forget about it. And then it gets put back into the pile. But there's a group of maybe like 10, 12 kids in front of there. and almost every face is from a different country.
In front of the fire pump.
In front of the fire pump,
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, on off to the side, fire
Of
pump
course,
is
everybody's
running.
running around in the picture. I love those because that reminds me of my neighborhood back in the day. I lived in a Ukrainian village.
Okay.
So it was Augusta, Hoyne, Damon,
We didn't go over
Levitt.
Man, it was like church group. My mother was like, "Vamos a estudio bíblico." Where are we going, ma? Bucktown. I ain't going. I'm not going. Where is it at? Right by Holstein Park. Not going.
Well, it was close. Yeah. Ukrainian village is real close to there. Yeah. So, but it was everything. It was everything. It was Christian. It was Muslims. It was black. It was white. It was Polish people. A lot of Polish people. But it was a McLeod that everybody was there. So I know what you're talking about, and it was some good times.
Beautiful.
Those were times where
Love it.
when people say the neighborhood took care of you, the neighborhood took care of you.
The neighborhood took care of you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my mom had to work 2 jobs and she went to college at the same time.
Wow.
So the neighborhood raised us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm a product of Chicago. I'm a product of Chicago and its neighborhoods and everything involved into it. And I am so utterly grateful for it, bro. I cannot explain to you. I wear it as a badge of honor. That when I moved away from Chicago one time and I was at a gig and I was in Florida and it was a hiatus from the restaurant business. I remember working. I was and everything was always Chicago. So when a buddy of mine who's my friend now, but he got annoyed with it. He was like, "Let me guess, you're from Chicago, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah."
Was it the stare? Was it the stare down?
Nah.
Was it
Well, he was
stare
a New
down?
York. He's a New Yorker, you know. He's an upstate New Yorker, but still New Yorker nonetheless. And but we got along very well.
Word.
We're still very good friends. So
I'm just saying the stare because when us Chicagoans get that stare. I don't know even why we do that, but we look at everybody like we stare at them first.
Man, let me tell you.
And even though a smile comes after, we're still that first, that
I
first
got to
look.
scope you out.
Yeah.
I don't know what you about. I got to scope you out. Right. We got to check it out.
That is crazy. So Omar, tell the people what you do in the name of your restaurant.
I'm not a chef by trade. I became a chef, I guess, in opening the restaurant. But I own a small restaurant in Logan Square on Fullerton and Hamlin. It's called Omarcito Latin Café. You've probably driven by it thousands of times if you go down Fullerton Avenue, but you'll drive past it those 1,000 times unless you actually park the car and walk your happy behind up to the door, because the entrance is on Hamlin on the residential side and not on the major boulevard side, and we don't really have signage. And I wanted to do it that way. And I know I've been criticized heavily by a lot of people, and they're like, "Why don't you put a sign there?" And I was like, "Why don't you just park the car and look for it?
Word.
Why don't you just get out the car and come look for me?"
Well, why is your mind thought that?
Because I felt like I wanted to do old school Chicago way things where it was like everything was word of mouth, It's like in that song that Bad Bunny says, "If I tell everybody about it, it's not the secret spot no more." You know what I mean?
Word.
And I didn't want to be necessarily the secret spot, but I wanted to be sought after. I wanted to create something that made people want to come. I wanted to be a destination spot.
And Omar, you're right about that because I hear about you a lot, and people are like, "Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?"
Yeah.
And then when they find it, it's like they found a buried treasure. You know what I'm saying? They're so ecstatic and happy they found it.
It's just
and
unique.
I say this because I've seen the videos. I say this because I haven't been there. Y'all, I said earlier I have not been there yet, but I'm going to be there. Just listen for the music.
You listen for the music.
Just listen for the music.
Smell it. You could smell it and you could hear it. Allow yourself the opportunity. You know the address. You know that it's there. You've seen it on social media. Stop looking for it. Park the car. Find a parking spot.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's a little rough. You're gonna have to walk a block, but it's okay because on the way out, it's gonna help on digestion.
There you
know what I
go.
mean?
You burn those calories a little bit.
Yeah,
Get
not
that
necessarily
exercise
burn
in.
the calorie,
Get
but you
your
help
steps in.
digestion.
Get your steps in.
Get your steps in. Yeah, but you gotta. I don't know. I wanted to have something special, man, in the city.
Word.
It was very big to me, and I think that the landlord who designed this spot in particular with me in mind, he thought the same thing. We had that same mentality. He's an old school, an old school Berwyn guy, Okay. He's actually from Cicero originally.
Okay.
But first generation Italian, and he very involved in building out restaurants and stuff like that. He's been I've been feeding the guy for over 15 years.
Word.
And it was him who kind of catapulted me into finally opening up my own spot.
Cool.
He was. I was at Big and Littles. I was running Big and Littles.
Which one? Because there's so many now.
Well, I opened up the second location over in Lakeview.
Okay, yeah.
So just a disclaimer: Big and Littles no longer exists. They're no longer there. They have one location that's in Midway Airport, but they don't run that. They just get a royalty check because the way that Midway runs everything over there, it's them who do it. But nonetheless, he was there one day, and I remember it was during the pandemic, and we got actually slammed that day, and it was towards the tail end of the pandemic, you know. And he was watching me. I was taking orders. I was busting. I was cooking. I was ringing people up. Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's just I love the energy of and the adrenaline rush of doing that. And he stopped. He was like, "Bro, you've been feeding me all these years. We've been, stop making these fools money already, bro. Go get your stuff together, save some pennies, and I might have a spot for you." And I've heard it so many other times from so many other people who are loved ones and friends or people who I've attended at all the restaurants I've been at. Like, dude, you need your own spot. You need your own spot. I think there was a certain level of maturity that I wasn't at just yet. Yeah. Yeah. I was enjoying the bohemian lifestyle of, making my money and going out into the world and enjoying it, living for the moment. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that money management skill was not something that I possessed. So that hurt me a lot too. And being able to stack the chips to be able to make that move.
We all got to learn.
Yeah. But, I had a kid and I was kind of just already over having to have someone tell me what to do. Mm-hmm. Even though for the most part, the last, Big and Littles gave me free range to let me be me because they knew it equaled. The amount of money that they made on that second location that I opened up with them is ridiculous. So much so that after that first year, they gave me sweat equity.
Nice.
And that whole year, he kept calling me his golden. You're my golden child. You're my golden child. And then later on, I found out through one of their people that were involved in their organization how much they actually made that first year there. And I was like,
were you blown away?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I was blown away, and I was like, it makes sense why they threw me the money that they did. Blessing, just a blessing. Yeah, but again, I repeat, I wanted a spot that was spoken about in a way that, hey, did you go check that place out? Have you found it? Did you go?
And that is the spot.
I'm not there. I don't feel like I'm there just
Bobby,
yet.
It is what it is.
I'm not.
It is what it is.
I'm still hurting for money, man. That's why
we need to get more people there.
That's the only thing.
Do me a favor, Omar.
Yeah.
You go like this. So people right now, what they're going to be seeing now is a picture of your spot.
Okay.
So this is what it looks like, people. Right there. That's what it looks like. Find that spot. Find that spot.
You can hear the music. I put a lot of money into that sound system, man. That was the one thing I call the my landlord. My landlord and Mikey they have been like mentors and
good stuff.
And like father figures in my life, especially after having lost my father. So these men have, they've given me advice and their time, and I think that for what they've done for me as a man, I'm very grateful. So this is why I've nicknamed them both Pops. Each one of them are Pops. I'm like, hey, what's up, Pops? So, but it's just a blessing.
Awesome. We're gonna go take a commercial, and we're gonna be right back with Omar, and we're gonna dive deeper into his life. You get to know this guy, your boy Los. Yo, what's up? It's your boy Los from the Flava Podcast. Did you know that in a research study, Rashi has been shown to have anti-cancer properties, anti-tumor effects. It helps detox the body and regulates the immune system. Whether your immune system needs to be controlled or boosted, Gano can help you there. And natural coffee that changes people's lives. Get your daily dose of 150 antioxidants in 1 cup while enjoying the flavor of this beautiful coffee. Natural coffee never tasted this good. Hey, and we're back. You were watching and listening to the Flava Podcast. So today we have Omar from Omarcito, the restaurant. Omar, before we get into this or that, what is the exact food that you have at your restaurant?
So we do a really nice mix of Cuban, Ecuadorian, Caribbean, Puerto Rican, Mexican. I do ropa vieja, which is quintessential Cuban because that is part of my upbringing, and it was something that I did not want to do, honestly, but because it is quintessential Cuban and other people love it so much, but I ate it so much growing up as a kid, I didn't want to do it. But ropa vieja, I grew up going to the original Marianao. Mm-hmm. Do you remember where the original Marianao? What is it? Where was it?
The one on Milwaukee?
See, that's not the original.
Wait, no, wait. No, it's still Milwaukee.
Nope.
The one by Milwaukee in
California?
Yeah.
Nope.
Then I don't know.
Nope. The original was on Armitage and Albany.
Nah,
Right across the street from that. Yeah. So, like as I was telling you earlier before the show, I grew up going to the church on Humboldt Boulevard in Cortland, Iglesia Bautista Cortland.
Yeah.
So after Sunday school, we would run out and go, because it was down the block, and eat a steak sandwich. And that sandwich to me was better than McDonald's.
But
better
what
than
sandwich?
anything. El pan con bistec, the steak sandwich.
Okay.
The Marianao. The famous Marianao steak sandwich.
Because they had another sandwich when I knew about it.
Yeah.
It was Medianoche?
Medianoche.
Yeah.
The Medianoche was good, but the steak sandwich at Marianao was
Okay.
In the 80s and early 90s. Well, by the time in the early 90s, they already were on Milwaukee and
That's what
California.
I know about it,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I grew up originally going to the one on Armitage and
Armitage.
Albany. Yeah, there was a gentleman who, my father was famous for giving nicknames to everybody. The minute he met you, he had a nickname. But there was a gentleman who worked at, and my father nicknamed him Picadillo. So he was known as Picadillo, and the whole neighborhood and everybody from that point on always known as Picadillo. And he was a good kind of like acquaintance, family, friend, so to speak. So that was always really cool to go in there. So I wanted to have a steak sandwich that reminded me of that Marianao steak sandwich.
Okay.
So that's another thing. I have a fish that I put on the menu. I was obsessed with eating fried catfish as a kid. That was something that we ate a lot in my house.
I haven't had catfish in a long time.
On my Ecuadorian side, it's very big. Catfish is very big, and that was something that we ate a lot. So over the years and learning how to cook and wanting to cook and the joy of all that, I would fry a lot of fish, and the homeboys love when I fried a fish.
Word.
So I had to put the fish on the menu because between my father and the homeboys, I got harassed into putting it on the menu. I thought, I was brought up to almost believe in the restaurant industry that catfish was such a black and brown people thing that, the other non-black and brown people
non-melanated?
The non-melanated didn't want to eat it. So I was like, I don't want to put it on the menu. This is just for us. Whenever you guys want to make, they're like, no. And then my dad, mijo, usted lo pone, sazónalo como usted lo sazone, put it on the menu, you'll watch. And I was like, all right, just to prove all y'all wrong, I'm going to put it on there and watch me bomb. And completely the opposite. They were right and I was wrong.
Really? So
And it
up.
everybody. It's a very special thing that I make because I've been making it for so much for my friends and my loved ones. More so the homeboys. The homeboys love it, And we do a lechon. I wanted to do a lechon in the tradition of how I remember eating it when we would go to Miami in South Florida.
I'm intrigued right now.
All right, so I created my own process with the lechon. So we do a 48-hour marinade. We squeeze all the citrus juices ourselves. A lot of orange juice. It has the vinegar and other things and the spices, but we actually braise it in the marinating liquid. So for 48 hours, it sits in the fridge, and after that 40 hours, it goes into the oven. It cooks the whole day, and it rests the whole day. The next day after that, it rests again. So we don't really start serving it until the 4th day after.
Okay.
Yeah. And then what we do is when it goes on the flat top and we start cooking it, we add a vinegar sauce to it that I make with garlic because I paid for the really expensive Vitamixes like a crazy person.
Okay.
So I'm able to make this really delicious vinegar dressing that has garlic and other seasonings and stuff in there.
Are you guys open right now?
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
No. Well, I felt bad when I saw my homegirl from Borinqua bring it on the food. I was like, damn, I came out empty-handed. Anna, yeah. I came in empty-handed, but it's my Mondays. Mondays are my mental health day.
No, we'll show up.
Yeah,
you can
please
take care of us over there.
Yeah. Listen, the restaurant is really just an extension of my home.
Let's go.
It's one of those things where I wanted it to be where it was my home. It's like coming into my home. The music is loud. I'm loud. I'm boisterous. as well as the vibe, as well as everything that's going on in there, from the flavors to the portions to everything. Like, I was telling you before, I got a 3-star Yelp review because of my prices. And I'm like, yeah, brother, but you're there complaining about my prices, but you're not telling them the $10 limonada is a big bucket. The $6 empanada has close to a quarter pound of protein.
So the limonada is not a cup.
No, you're not getting
it's
it.
a bucket, like you said, it's a bucket.
Oh, man, it's 24 ounces of liquid.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
So this person was complaining about the price.
Yeah, so I got you. You dock me because I'm trying to survive.
Right.
You didn't come up and ask me. You didn't. The thing is, I have this thing where I want to be able to have everybody come up to me and tell me. I'm appreciative of his honesty. Don't get me wrong. But come up and tell me, Joe.
I hope he watches this.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah.
I embrace the honesty and the sincerity and the genuine of coming out.
Hold on, Omar. Right here, this camera right here.
Yeah.
Right here.
I embrace the sincerity and the genuineness of being able to come up to me and say, I did not like this, or I thought this, that, and the other. That to me is so honorable and so respectful, because you are really looking out for me now, in the sense that it gives me the opportunity to correct it or to defend myself or to explain to you why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I'm not trying to get off on anyone like that. I want you to come back. I want you to tell your friends and your grandmother and your mother and your tia and your tios and your homeboys and everybody in between so that they can come and eat. At the end of the day, what I wanted was to have my home. This is my home, man.
Yeah.
It's my business, but it's my home.
You know what I'm interested about? Did he actually purchase it?
What do you mean?
Did he complain about the prices and just walked away, or did he purchase these things?
Either way, I feel like
because I want to know, did he purchase it?
He was saying how great it is. He was celebrating it.
Did he eat it and say,
He said
is
it's
it
good.
worth that $6 or whatever it is? You know what I'm saying? Hello, it might be worth it.
Well, apparently he didn't think that it was worth it. He says there are other comparable places. But let me tell you, man, those a $6 I knew that I was charging $6 for them. I knew that. But I tell my staff all the time, you make sure you stuff that. Stuff that empanada. Because I am charging $6.
Make you look pregnant.
Yes. Yeah, I know I'm charging you $6, brother. Joe, I give you your money's worth.
Let's go.
And if you don't feel like I do at the end of it all, then build up the courage and step up to me, and I will give you a refund.
Let's go. Come on, that's a man.
I will give you a refund. That's my
that's
word.
That's a business owner. That's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Say you're not happy with that.
Yeah, let me
All right,
know.
cool. Yeah.
I say it all the time. If at the end of the meal you're not happy, let me know. I'll refund you.
Word.
I don't want you to be unhappy. Don't leave my joint unhappy.
But this is the first one.
Yeah.
From all this time, this is the first one.
No. I've had other ones. Unfortunately, I've had some people that come in.
Okay.
I've had some people that come in, and I've had 2 customers, unfortunately.
Well, that's very little, though.
Yeah, no. I mean, for the most part, yeah, it's very little.
Yeah.
It's,
But that's anything. I mean, I get complaints here. I'm in a podcast studio.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know.
We're always gonna have some complaints. We try to make it right for them, and at the end of the day, we love on them, we pray for them.
Yeah.
But, it's time to go. And we're gonna keep on moving forward.
I just wanted to represent love, man. Really, honestly, and in all aspects of that word. That's why I say what I say when I say, if you don't like it, step up to the plate and say so.
Yeah.
You want your refund? I'll give you your money
Holla
back,
at your
Joe.
boy. Holla at your boy.
I'll give you your money back, Joe.
So, what is the most dish that's bought at your place?
Man, I would have to look at the numbers, but I want to say the cult following is the fish.
The fish.
The fish is the cult following. The steak sandwich and the jibarito is great. Our jibaritos are not like everybody else's. So when you get a jibarito at any other place in the city of Chicago, they do it the long way.
Yeah.
So, the bananas on the length, they smash it to the length, right? And they put that ridiculous, I'm sorry, I don't mean to I don't want to bash nobody, but that garlic stuff on top, The garlic mojo or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
But they're not using the good oil. I know, because
What are you doing?
good oil is expensive. So, they use whatever vegetable or seed oil they can find to cut costs, and that doesn't digest well. So that's one of the things also at my restaurant is we cook clean. By that, I mean, the only seed oil that we use, unfortunately, is to fry with. Because to fry in olive oil, number one, it doesn't, olive oil doesn't have that, it doesn't have that burn rate. It has a burn rate on it. You can't raise the temperature too high on olive oil. So you can't really, you can because I've seen chefs fry in olive oil, but it's just too expensive.
Okay.
It's way too expensive. So we fry in a type of vegetable oil, right? But everything else that we do, you are consuming copious amounts of high-grade olive oil.
He used the word copious.
Copious. Yes.
Let's go.
Because if I could show you my bill on what we spend on olive oil alone, brother, it was just something of my upbringing. My grandfather is of Spanish descent on my mother's side, on the Cuban side. So olive oil was consumed ridiculously amounts. I mean, my grandfather had a little station at the jewelry store with his la galleta de soda in the can, the soda crackers in the can, and a little bottle of olive oil. And that was his snack when he would, he would grab the cracker and douse it with olive oil and pop it in.
Word.
Everything was covered with olive oil with this man. And I would grow up watching him, be like, abuelo, tú le pones aceite de oliva a todo. He's like, it's beneficial. He's like, it's good for your body, it's good for your skin, it's good for everything. You should eat it too. And then I grew up, and here I am at 46 years of age, and I've become my grandfather, my father, and I put it on everything. So whereas you go to any Latino restaurant for the most part, and I'm not here to bash them. It's just that it's not a good thing.
You do something different. That's all.
They use margarine
¿Para qué?
to toast the bread. When you ask for a pan con mantequilla, 9 times out of 10 they're using margarine.
Okay.
Okay?
Parquet?
Who cares? I'm not going to deny the fact that the stuff tastes good.
Might be parquet.
I like it. I like it too. Don't get me wrong.
All right.
I know it tastes good. I like it. But butter's so much better, like real butter. When you come get bread and butter at my restaurant, it's real butter, grass-fed butter.
No, you ain't right, bro. Because you brought no food, and we're talking about this good stuff, bro.
Sorry,
you ain't right. I forgive you, but man, you're making me so hungry,
sorry,
bro. I told you I left the house and took a shower.
You came straight here to
Came
eat.
straight here to meet you. But it sounds amazing. But I want to go back to the jibarito.
Yeah.
You said on top people.
So I had my neighbor at my apartment is a Venezuelan lady, and I was at a point at the restaurant where I needed an extra pair of hands, and she needed some extra cash, so she came and worked for me. And she was like, "We make these kind of sandwiches, jibarito sandwiches, in Venezuela, but we call them a patacón." But that word patacón is funny because that's also the word for tostón in other parts of Latin America. Okay. Primarily like Central America will use it a lot. Colombians use it. Ecuadorians will use it.
I'm learning a lot. Even Alex in the back is learning a lot right now.
So patacón. Even in Cuba, I grew up calling tostones tachinos. Tachinos, yeah. So for at least in my Cuban side of the family, and I've heard it being called like that, and a lot of Cuban and part of my Cuban culture with different Cuban families, tachinos. So tachino, patacón, tostón, verde. It's just called a straight up verde sometimes in Ecuador, but. So the Venezuelans make a jibarito sandwich, but it's called patacón. And basically what they do is when they smash it, it looks like a giant tostón.
Okay.
So it's round. Not long.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's the second thing. And I'm not going to give out this secret out on the air.
Don't do that.
I tell some close ones, but someone can fact check me on this, but if I'm not mistaken, primarily all the spots in the city of Chicago that'll sell you a jibarito, the plantains that they get, the green plantains are from Guatemala. And I love Guatemalan people. I love all you Guatemalans, all of them, especially your gastronomy. But the green plantains from Guatemala, the companies that bring them, gas them, they don't have that good plantain flavor. The plantains that I get, and I know I'm biased on this one, but we get Ecuadorian green plantains. And I go to a special store out in the burbs, and we make the trip. We drive out there once a week to buy these special plantains that are from Ecuador.
That entrepreneurship stuff.
And I will tell you, we could put them toe to toe on a focus group. And I promise you that those Ecuadorian plantains, because I get raves all the time that people says, "Where'd you get these plantains? Where'd you get these plantains?" I was like, yeah. Again, I'm biased because I'm half Ecuadorian, but the fact of the matter is, on a gastronomical tip, the green plantains from Ecuador are gonna have a better flavor.
So we know what you got at the restaurant now.
Yeah.
Cool. And people heard this, and you should be going.
Yeah.
He's put his finger up there. You saw where it looked at. Just look for that and listen for smell it for the food and listen for the music. And for what the video I saw was hip hop. And
I mean, we play everything, but yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh,
yeah,
come on, somebody.
Well, it's mixed. I mean, the Omarcito's playlist, which that's exactly what it's called on Spotify. It's just, I think that what happens is throughout the day when I'm not at work and I'm hearing something, if it moves me in such an emotional way, it goes on that playlist.
Word.
So I just add it. So I continuously just add stuff, and then lately I've been taking away because I keep hearing certain things over. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't go there.
Not today.
Yeah, not today. So I'll take it off. But I'm such a music nerd, and I enjoy all sorts of music.
We were just talking about funk.
Yeah.
We just talked about funk, which is one of my favorites too. Latin jazz and funk, one of my favorites.
I mean, I'm a jazz head.
And you mentioned that one group you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, Dojo Cuts from Australia.
From Australia, yeah. Which I was like blown away when you said Australia.
Yeah, man. Hey, watch out for Australia. That Blue-Eyed Soul is hard over. I mean, the Bee Gees, Joe. The Bee Gees came from Australia.
Yeah. Well, I just found out about Red Lotus.
Yeah,
they're from Brooklyn though.
Yeah,
but they're amazing, amazing, man. Amazing funk.
Yeah.
So awesome. So let's get into the this or that. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So they might be silly. They might be serious.
Let's do it.
If you want to answer them, answer. But you don't, pass. You know what I'm saying?
I'm in.
So Tom or Jerry?
Ooh, Jerry.
Why?
Well, who was the mouse? Jerry, right?
Jerry was the mouse.
The mouse. Because he always improvised and was able to get away. Okay. And he was called cool and collective. You know what I mean? And I think that's been my journey in life, is to be like, don't be so emotionally impulsive and responsive. And Jerry was always thinking it through and putting,
Okay. All right. Jerry.
He was evasive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jerry it is. Batman or Superman?
Oh, Superman.
Why?
I could fly. I could fly. And I think, I don't know, just the flying part. Honestly, I just want to fly. Even though I'm scared of heights so deathly, man, it's ridiculous.
So am I. But I would love to fly too.
I would love to fly. Just that opportunity.
Do you remember the Great American Hero?
Oh my God, I love that. I know that song. Yeah.
He put out that suit. He couldn't really fly, but he was just trying. I think that would be me.
Show.
Like,
what a great show, man. Yeah, that was good.
Awesome show.
Yeah.
Okay, so Superman it is.
Yeah.
Arroz blanco con like black beans on the side.
Yeah.
Or Puerto Rican rice.
Ooh, I'm half Cuban, so I'm gonna go white rice and black beans.
Me too.
That's how I was raised. I like the guisao juice soaking up with the rice.
Sauce it up. Sauce it up. Oof. Cool.
And olive oil on top, always. You don't understand. Olive oil, always.
Grandfather's still here. He's still around.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. But yeah, that man is in my heart,
Amen
man.
to that. Amen to that.
Yeah.
So, Chicago Cubs or Chicago Sox?
Cubs fan, even though my very first game, and I don't think a lot of people who know me know this, but my very first ball game as a kid was at Comiskey. But I grew up a North Sider, so the Cubs was the thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even though they were my Cuban cousins, when they got here in the 60s, because of Minnie Minosa, the Sox was the team for the Cuban people. Yeah, for the exile community, it was the Sox. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Green Bay Packers or the Bears?
The Bears, man.
Well, who's better?
The Bears.
How?
We just are.
It's impossible.
No, we just are.
You won a game out of 7 years.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. The Bears. That's a very touchy subject with me.
But how?
Yeah, I know. I'm very angry at the McCaskey family too, but I also understand what they're doing. They have a lot of mouths to feed. I found out certain things from talking. I have some friends who are involved in stuff like that, and they schooled me on it. And I also had read some things where they're not very boisterous with their money like other owners. They don't have these crazy mansions. They live in Des Plaines.
I heard that,
Yeah, but the family is all involved. So they spread the wealth amongst everybody. And I thought that was a beautiful thing. I just think that they need to manage it better so that we can get a squad that matters for the great city of Chicago finally. You know what I mean?
You don't think they have a good lineup this year?
I think we do. I think
it's getting better.
I think it's getting better. I hope to see.
I don't think they're going to beat the Hackers again, but...
Listen, Los.
It was a fluke.
Let's go to the next one.
So, one, I'm a North Sider, but not a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not a Sox fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Yankee fan.
Oh, man, that sucks. But you're from the Chi, baby.
I
know you were born in PR, but...
I was born in PR. That's right. We spoke about that. But my father was a Yankee fan, and he was from New York.
Well, I get that.
So that's why
I understand that.
Yankees.
I'm such a Chicagoan, man. You don't understand. I leave this city and all I do is be I'm from Chicago. As I introduce myself, I don't even give you my name. I'm from Chicago. Yeah, I'm from Chicago. My name's Omar. How are you? Yeah, I like proudly boasting I'm from here.
Word. Marvel or
DC?
DC, yeah.
Marvel.
Why?
I grew up with Wolverine and the X-Men, and it was Marvel. So Marvel was always the one that I leaned to as a child. There was that cool ass bookstore, comic book store over on Western by Wilson. You know what I'm talking about?
Western,
yeah, Joe. Yes,
Yeah.
Man, that's where I went to.
Word.
I went to that comic book store, and there was another one because of my family being in the jewelry business, and I would go with the golfer that used to go to the Diamond District whenever they needed certain things. There was a comic book store at the bottom of 5 South Wabash, which is where, it's the Jewelers Building. There used to be a comic book store there in the early 90s.
What do you call it, Jewelers Row or something?
Yes. But so when I would go, I'd be like, okay, you go do your thing and I'm going to be in the comic book store.
Word.
Marvel.
Okay, Marvel. Hip-hop or R&B?
Oof. Hip-hop. That's my love. I'm a child of the 80s. I was born in 79, but I grew up and I remember forcing my father to take me to go see Beat Street at Logan Theater. And as we were walking out, all the gangbangers were coming out and they were all throwing up signs. And it was crowded. Like the bangers were deep that day that they took me to see. And then I just remember my father smacked me in the back of the hand. And he was like, esto es lo que tú quieres hacer con la gente de la calle, todo esto. You want to be a part of it. And I was like, I just want to be a B-boy, man. Like,
and back in the days, those gangbangers, they were hanging out and throwing gang signs. They were really breaking too.
Yes.
Because I remember those days. I was born in 1973. so I know those days. I was dancing those days,
man,
you know what I'm saying?
Back those in the 80s. Glorious days.
Yeah.
I mean, in my neighborhood, I grew up Troy and Ensley. The gang, I'm not going to name them, but the gang that existed in that neighborhood in those days was really heavy and they were very powerful in that neighborhood. And the kids that were growing up, it was either you were a B-boy or you were a banger. And some of the B-boys ended up having to become bangers because they got drugged into it. Yeah. But there was one kid in particular, I can't remember his name, and I loved him to death because we got along really well. He was a little older than me, but he was a dope B-boy. And the family that lived next door to us, 8 altogether, the mom and 7 boys, in a 2-bedroom apartment. And the boys always had the linoleum and the boombox, and they were always making, and the kid that I'm telling you, let's just call him Junior or something, Junior would always be there breaking. He was amazing. But the gang that was in that neighborhood ended up taking it. I remember he came through rocking the Adidas tracksuit with the colors of that. I was like, damn, they got you, bro. Yeah. Damn.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, my father always knew hip hop was, I was obsessed with it. I mean, I'm also from Chicago, so house music was, I grew up BMX. Absolutely. WBMX was everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the bangers pounded it.
We mentioned Cookie earlier.
Yeah.
For B96.
I mean, that was my upbringing. But hip hop, man, I can't tell you. That sound.
Did you tag?
I tried to, but I was too much of a scary berry. We're getting in trouble, Corporal punishment was handed at my house on a daily like a snack,
I tagged. That wasn't that great.
Yeah, I wasn't that great.
I still tagged.
My tag name was like Wisdom, and first of all, it was like too many letters.
Yeah, it's like taking forever. The cops got you.
Like, I'm done.
The cops got you. It was like, dude, keep it 3-4 letters, bro.
But hip hop. Definitely hip hop. I love R&B. Don't get me wrong.
I'm a big R&B guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge R&B. On the way here, I was listening to Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Let's go.
I went from Frankie Beverly and Maze to NWA Express Yourself. Okay.
I think Alex was listening to some Scarface or somebody back there. I forget. That was Ice-T.
Yeah.
Something.
I love it. All right.
So yeah, I'm a big, because remember back in the day we used to go up and down Fullerton?
Yes.
And everybody used to just pound either the Thuggish Ruggish Bone guys.
Nope. Don't like
house
Bone.
Music.
Don't like Bone.
But you know what I was doing?
I'll tell you what
I was playing that R&B.
I was playing that Jerry Rivera.
You know how packed my car was?
Yeah.
Now with guys.
I know.
Now with guys. Yeah. That Beamer had females.
I love it.
Because it was always R&B for me. I love R&B.
I love it. I love R&B. But yeah, hip hop to me was my heart. That took me away until I heard jazz music. And then after I heard jazz music, that was it.
Yeah.
So my first love is definitely house and hip hop. I'm a Chicago kid. But watching the breakdance scene and the b-boys and the hip hop that was coming out, I was like, I wanted to be submerged on it. And then when I heard jazz music for the first time, which was from the Cosby Show.
So you were some
jazz music was taught to me by the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Yes,
because he had
great
Cliff.
Yeah,
had some great jazz music on there. Which there's different kinds of jazz, right? There's Latin jazz, there's contemporary jazz, and there's that soulful jazz.
Yes. Well, that was part of it too. The piece that I'm talking in particular that stole my heart is "In a Sentimental Mood" by John Coltrane and Duke Ellington.
Okay.
That piece of music right there.
We know jazz.
Yes, that is one of my top 5 pieces of music ever in my life, and I've used it and implemented in so many aspects of things that have happened into my life, even in my father's funeral, because my father and I had a very rough relationship, and music and food were some of the things that we could always discuss. And that particular piece, he and I would always have conversations of how amazing Duke Ellington was. And he really didn't know John Coltrane too much, so I would school him, not school him, but I would share about what I've learned about John Coltrane with him.
And your insights.
Yeah, and then he would show me about Duke Ellington, and then we would discuss, and it was just one of those things where it was only, one of the rare occasions that my father and I got along and were able to discuss anything other than church.
Right.
Yeah.
Church is always good. But I was going to tell you, me and my son, Dizzy Gillespie.
Okay.
Hugely. I had my son play the trompeta just because I loved Dizzy so much.
I love Dizzy.
So yeah.
One of the pioneers of bebop music.
Yeah. So I get that with you and your father. That me and my son. Awesome.
Next.
The next one is, this is a serious one. It's the last one. Okay.
All right.
It's extremely serious.
I'm in.
You got to be all in on this.
I'm in.
All right. Chicago pizza or New York pizza?
So I've never had New York pizza, and I've never been to New York. I know, but I am curious. I do really believe that the hype and everything that everyone talks about New York pizza is the water, and the reason that it's in the water is the water that comes down from the Adirondacks has a very high mineral content. So I'm sure that scientifically that has an immense effect to how the dough, so that taste is there. So I'm sure there's other implements.
Well, I didn't know it was Omar the science guy,
No,
bro.
I mean,
Let's go,
I love
bro.
food, man.
Let's go.
I love all the. I'm nerdy with these little things,
No,
man.
I find it intriguing. I love that you know all that stuff. That's awesome. So, New York
Chicago pizza.
Okay, but
I love tavern
let me explain
style.
New York pizza. It's like I used to go to New York a lot. I used to find the comedians and bring them to Chicago. I used to go over there and get them. New York pizza is Bocce's pizza.
Yeah, the giant slice.
Just a big slice, big floppies.
Yeah, but Bocce's not good no more. I don't even know.
I never liked Bocce's.
No,
my kids love Bocce's.
No, but back in the 90s when we used to go to, because my mother taught at a school that was in Little Italy. So I used to go to the one on Taylor Street by Taylor and Oakley.
Okay.
Yo, that one was fire. Yeah, what happens to a lot of these places is that you get so popular and they become like Lucille. I know I'm speaking my age here, but they become Lucille Ball with the bonbons. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
she's on the conveyor belt, and she's trying to go, and yes, you know. So just focus on what you have. It's like just chew the food that's in front of you, bro. You know.
Well, my favorite pizza place was on Channel 9. It didn't come up in first place because they did a pizza tour in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I almost forgot their name.
Oh.
Pequod's.
No, really? Pequod's?
You had Pequod's?
I mean, I love it, man. I've had it. I'm not going to say I love it.
Right?
No, yeah. Pequod's is good. That cheese crust.
At my job, I had Pequod's. I'm like, it's the same. You got to go to
It's
restaurant.
good. It's pan pizza. It's good.
Well, there's pan, it's stuffed.
Yeah.
It's everything.
I've only had the pan there.
Oh, you got to have the stuff.
Yeah, I've always had the pan
my
there.
God,
Yeah.
my mouth is getting watery right now.
Yeah, stuffed pizza to me is intense, man.
It's
intense.
It's an amazing thing. So
Yeah.
They didn't come, like I said, they didn't come in first place.
Yeah.
But they got really close.
Yeah.
It was a local pizza joint that got first place.
Yeah. I can't even tell you what my favorite pizza place in the city is. Nah. I don't even think I have one. I think it's just all of where am I at in the city at the moment? What's decent around here? Where am I at? What neighborhood am I in? All right, let's go over here. My daughter loves Festa's Pizza right next to the Llama Club on Fullerton.
Okay. That big
the little
joint.
family joint. Yeah, the Llama Club.
Yeah.
No, not Park and Field. Not
That's what I was thinking. Park and Field, yeah.
Couple doors down, further west.
It's called what?
It's called Festas.
Festas.
Not Fiesta.
Festas.
Festas. The owner's such a sweetheart. He comes to eat at the restaurant. I'm not saying this because my daughter literally loves coming here, but we had a slice there the other night, and I told her, this is what you want when you want a slice of pizza.
Okay.
Let me get a slice of sausage. You bite into it, like, oh, word up. I'm happy. I feel satisfied. I didn't feel like I got taken for a ride. I gave you my money. Now you just gave me something you threw together and don't even care about it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But it's good. It's not the best. I'm not crying. I'm like, oh my God.
I'm gonna try all these places.
No, but it's good, you know? But again, like I said, what neighborhood am I in?
Okay.
Where am I at? You know?
We gotta go to Pequot's again because
I'll go to
I gotta
Pequot's,
get you on that
man.
pizza, man.
I'm in. I go.
So now we get a little serious. We're gonna dive into your life a little bit.
Yep.
Omar, who were you when you were 10 years old?
Oh, I was a bratty little boy who was spoiled and was treated like the prince because I was the firstborn male in a family of mostly women. My mother, my grandmother, my aunts, my parent, my father, the men in them were always working. My sisters came around. My first sister came around when I was 8. So by that point already I had both my sisters. But I was a rambunctious child who could not stay still, who couldn't keep his hands to himself, who asked 1,000,001 questions, and I kept thinking that my nicknames were Sácame este niño de aquí, or get this kid out of here. That's what I thought my nickname was. I spent a lot of afternoons in Logan Square at the Logan Theater because we would go to the jewelry store as a family.
Right.
And they couldn't stand me because I was always into everything. I was trying to get into everything. My grandfather had a repair shop at the back of the jewelry store with jewelers.
Right.
And it was a huge repair shop.
Yeah.
There were at least a dozen jewelers back there.
Okay.
And they had cool tools. They had blowtorches. They had, there was alcohol.
You wanted your hands up and everything.
I was Dennis the Menace. And I would go in there and mess with all of them. And they couldn't stand me. And they would be like, can you please go up to your grandmother and ask her to give you detente? And I thought that, detente, sounds like denting gum. I was like, I gotta give you some candy. Yeah. So I went up, I said, Mima, los muchachos atrás me dijeron que te preguntara por detente. And she said, sit in that chair, detente ahí. But yeah, at 10 years old, I was a spoiled little brat and just, growing up in the church. My family grew up in the church, so I was in the church at that time. And just enjoying Chicago, man. I think at that age, I was really realizing how wonderful my city was with everything that was happening, So, yeah.
Cool. So, moving forward, 15. Who were you at 15? This whole 5 years later.
15, I was confused. I was looking for myself. I was also made to give up my sophomore year of high school because my sophomore year of high school football, my mother went back to earn her master's degree and had told me, you cannot play sophomore year. You have to take care of your sisters. So I was in my feels with my mother on that one, and I was very resentful and I was very rebellious. So I was a difficult child to deal with at 15 because of that. I loved football so much. I wanted to play, and having to give it up, I turned to, recreational activities that were not, I don't know how much I can say here about that.
Go ahead.
But I was a big herb smoker in that, Sophomore year of high school was all about, getting out of school and copping a bag and puffing on the way home and then chilling and then having to go pick up my sisters from school, bring them back home, do our homework together, and then make dinner.
That was all you.
Yeah. So 15 years old is where cooking dinner for my family started.
Wow. Okay.
At 15 years old.
That's a big responsibility.
That's a huge responsibility.
Especially when a kid just wants to go out and play and hang out with boys and stuff like that.
Yeah. I just wanted to play football. Early on in life, I wanted to play hockey. They wouldn't let me because they said it was, first it was boxing. I wanted to box. I wanted to box bad, but my mother was against it hardcore. And then I was like, can I play hockey? No, you can't. Can I play football? No, you can't. But I'd be playing football already in the streets and getting hit all the time.
Schoolyard or something.
And I was like, but no. So when I got to high school, they finally did it and they said, okay, you could play. And I was so happy. I wanted to play content. You know, I think it was one of those things too that everyone thought I was a punk kid because in my family because I was being babied all the time by the women and everything. You know what I mean? But I was like, no, I want to prove to you that I'm also a tough guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I know you see me and you think that I'm just a little mark, but I'm a.
You want to get in there?
Yeah, I want to get in there.
You want to show it off?
Yes. Yeah. So, but at 15, I was lost. I was confused. I was angry. I was sad. I was also taking care of my sisters, you know, after school, and yeah, just navigating life and enjoying. I went through a phase of a film. I started watching a lot of film, like foreign films and stuff like that. My father had a habit of exposing us to a lot of different cultural things, music, dance, ballet.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, he bought encyclopedias and made me write reports for him during the summer.
Oh my God! You had all those encyclopedias back in the day?
Britannicas, the Tree of Knowledge. I had all of Franco and Wagner's.
Yeah.
That man, I'd be so angry at him because everybody would be outside playing in the summertime and he's having me write reports on Simón Bolívar and telling me one day this is going to make sense to you. And now here I am, I'm like, I'm grateful for it.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
I'm grateful for
it. We don't realize what they're doing.
No,
why they're
not
doing
at the
it.
moment, no.
Yeah,
But now I look back and I'm like, I'm so thankful and grateful to him for all that.
Yeah. I always say that back then I would get mad at my mother for her just telling me what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then when I get older, it wasn't what it is. I should have listened a little faster.
I should have listened a lot. I'm 46 and they're still telling me, I'm like, I should have listened.
Right.
Yeah.
Esa no para ti, esa no para ti.
No.
Nah, mom, she is for me.
No.
And then later on, I'm like, you were right, mom.
Well, my father's favorite term was always "no te complique la vida." My grandfather too, which is oddly enough, and my grandfather didn't like my father, but it was funny that the things that I got from both of them, you know, the attributes of my character that I've attained from both these men. Yeah, but the one phrase was always "no te complique la vida."
Yeah.
Don't complicate things.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So you're 15, now you're 20.
Yeah. I'm 20.
What's going on between 20 and 25?
Between 20 and 25 is when I entered the restaurant game. I entered the restaurant game at the cusp of being 21. So after leaving high school, I went to community college. I did not want to be in college. I did not like school. I wanted to be in the streets hanging out with the homeboys. I wanted to be drinking, smoking, doing everything else but that. I did like to work, so I didn't mind working. I had a good work ethic. I always had a little paper in my pocket from working. Well, not a lot, but I worked for my family mostly, and then I had jobs outside of it too. When my father got frustrated with me when he noticed that I wasn't trying to go to school, so he bought a corner store, like a little bodeguita in a neighborhood over by Central Park in Bertaux.
Okay.
And he bought that when I was 18. And he was like, well, since you don't want to go to school, I need you to go run this. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go fucking anything. I'm going to go get another job elsewhere. You and I don't get along. So I'm going to go, I'm your father, and I'm telling you what to do.
Word.
So I went and worked this little grocery store, this little bodeguita, from 18 to a little bit past 20, because it was right around that time. A buddy came to work with me there. It was actually my really good friend's ex-boyfriend. And sadly enough, her and I stopped talking, and I ended up being cool with him, which really sucks because she's still my best friend now.
Are they still together? No?
No, hell no. No, absolutely not. Dude wasn't.
She's watching this right now.
Yeah, probably later. Yeah, I'm sure. I talk about her all the time. I love her dearly. The interesting fact about that too is our fathers were very good friends before we were born. So I always think that how cool, like our fathers were really good friends, and then here we are now, and she and I are also very good friends. So
that is cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I forgot where we were.
So we were at 2025.
Yeah, so I entered my father bought this grocery store. Homeboy came with me. Towards the tail end, right before I got into the restaurant game, I had a falling out with my father hard, and I was like, I don't want to be here no more. I'm so sorry. I'm gone. And I left. And I left him, and he was now in charge of the grocery store that he didn't want to be with, that he originally bought, so that I can, manage it and learn some stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm straight. So one day, because I told my homeboy I'm out of here, and you should be too, because my father's going to end up taking care of this, and he's not going to want you around. So he says, I got an interview for a restaurant in Hyde Park. Do you mind giving me a ride? I said, no problem. Let's go. So I give dude a ride. He takes the interview. He comes out. He says, I got the job. The girl who gave me the interview, she says she still needs people. I think you should go into the interview. I told her that you're looking for a job. I was like, I'm not looking for a job, man. He's like, dude, go take the interview. I honestly believe that you'll take like a fish to water in this business. Something about this tells me that you're going to be great at this business. Go and take the interview. So for giggles and whatnot, I said, all right, just to indulge him. I went and took the interview. They gave me the job, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll go.
I got a job.
So I got a job at a restaurant called Calypso Cafe in the old Harper Court in Hyde Park. And 25 years later, here I am, man. I loved it so much. I felt seen. I felt like I found where I was supposed to be. There was something about the adrenaline, the energy, the chaos that made me able to focus. I wasn't able to focus so much. I'm never been diagnosed with ADHD or it, but I know that I can't stay still. I'm fidgety. I have these things to me that just I can't focus. But the energy of the restaurant business allowed me to go. And I was like, word.
Purpose.
I'm in, Joe. I'm in. This is where I'm supposed to be. And I literally, when I tell you I took like a fish to water, I took like a fish to water. And it was such a glorious thing because I loved every aspect of it. 6 months into it, the owner comes up and says, I want to put him in the general manager's training program. I want him to learn how to be a general manager. I was able to pick up stuff from the business like this.
That's good.
I would look at people and be like, if this guy can do it, I can do it better. Watch me. I'm watching. I was so interested. I was so intrigued. I was so
love that
captivated. There was something about it. I developed a love for it. And that love was what I wanted to nurture. So all the aspects, even scrubbing the kitchen down. Now I don't like it. I don't want to scrub no kitchen. I don't want to scrub no kitchens down anymore. I dislike it so much now that I pay the extra.
I got people for this.
I got people for this. Even though there are times I felt like I should have been like, just for, money and financial situations, I'd be like, I got this tonight. But I'm like, no. I don't want to do that no more. I'm done. I'm done with that, closing it down.
So from 25 to 35, what does that look like?
Wow. That was an interesting time in my life. My grandmother, so let me just backstep just a little bit because they overlap each other. So my first job was at Calypso Cafe, and then I went to a place called Pasta Shop and Cafe over in Oak Park. And I did 3 years there at 90 hours a week with 1 day off a month. And I burned myself out. I burned myself out really bad. I had some breakdowns a couple times as I was there. Just because it was just too much. I mean, the thing was I was working so hard, and then that weekend I was out partying, and that was the worst. I wouldn't sleep. I never called off of work, hungover and whatever. Never. None of this millennial stuff. My tummy hurts. I
got a headache.
My favorite one is when they call you in and say, I think I can't come into work today.
I think
I can't make it in today. I don't think I can make it in today. Why? I don't feel well. Take some Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus and get your behind down here now. But I learned that that's just how it is now. You know what I mean? But I never had that. But the overlapping was after I had those 3 years at Calypso Cafe, I was so burnt out that I took a couple years off. So there's a little gap there where I wasn't in the restaurant industry. And then I went down to Florida because my family had tried to tell me that it would probably be a good idea to go live with my grandparents because they felt that they were on their last few years.
So they wanted somebody there.
So they wanted me to be there. They're like, you're so close to your grandparents. Go live with them. Go back to college. Finish university. Your family's going to help you out. When I got down there, my grandfather said, well, why don't you just try to get the money yourself? I was like, buddy, I came down here because you guys said that you guys were going to help out with the loot, to go to college. I mean, if that's not the case, I'm just going to go back to work. So I found a job through one of an ad in one of those alternative newspapers. At this stage, I'm 25. I'm 20. Yeah. I'm in just north of Miami in a suburb called Pembroke Pines. So I answer an ad that says potential earnings up to $100,000 a year in your first year trading currencies. It was a phone jockey thing. You know what I mean? It was a boiler room, so to speak. So I got blinded by the light, the opportunity. I was frustrated that my family told me they were going to help me with college. They didn't want to go to college. They didn't want to help me. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't like school. I would much rather work my tail off. And that's what I did. I got hired from this company. I worked my tail off. I didn't really make much money, but it was a really interesting part of my life watching these people preach positivity, how to eat clean, how to listen to sales tapes and things that would level up your self-esteem, and train your mind, to be a clean person. But the whole time, they're scamming people out of money, So there was this irony of things like, well, wait a minute, you guys are up here talking to go work out, go eat clean, read, listen, ask questions. But then when you pick up the phone, you're asking for people to send you money that you're not gonna make the money on. And when everything started clicking for me, I was like, this isn't for me. And then right around that time was when my grandmother got diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4 ovarian cancer. I was just about 25. So entering 25 years of age, I saw the man who I looked up to so much, which was my grandfather, who was, I thought, the hardest man ever. I hope that wasn't.
That's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
Yeah. Anyhow, I saw the hardest man. My grandmother got sick. The day that she was diagnosed with cancer was at the hospital that we took her as an emergency. This man came up to me. I never saw this man shed a tear, show any emotion.
Right.
With a tear in his eye, and he said, help me. Oh, wow. Help me. Yeah. I left my job and I went to take care of my grandmother. And I helped out my family with taking care of my grandmother through her stage 4 cancer. They told her she was terminal. She was going to die soon. So I figured, let me make, the last year of her life or whatever it is comfortable.
How was your mind set having this man that you've never seen?
Yo, man, that blew me away.
Right. And now he's being vulnerable around you.
Yes.
And he's asking you, I need
you. You're a hip hop guy, so when I think of this, I thought about this a long time, and I thought about it when the album dropped, when the Roots album, Act 1, when Act 1 is on there. I forget the name of the album now. I'm so sorry. I'm
lost right now.
Yeah. Anyhow, there's a line that Black Thought has talking about the love of hip hop, and he says, the impact pushed back the first 5 rows. That's what happened to me. The impact of that man with tears in his eye, saying, help me. When my whole life to that point was, you don't know nothing, you're naive, you're gullible, you're this, you're that, but you're asking the naive, gullible, not knowing nothing for help. So what was I supposed to do? It's my family. I'm close to my grandmother. The relationship I had with my grandmother was very deep. I had a very deep connection with my grandmother. And I said, okay, so let's go. But something told me, something was in me that said, she could live still. She could live years. I'm a believer. I was brought up in the church. I believe in God. I'm a creationist. You know what I mean? I believe in faith. So to me, I thought to myself, no. If I can move a mountain, if I had faith of a mustard seed,
right,
why can't I do it for my grandmother?
That's right.
So I said, let's go to work. Let's do this. So appointments, cleaning the house, groceries, getting everything ready, making sure my grandfather had his food. I was basically the Benson of the house. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Wow, you mentioned Benson.
Yeah, well, I showed you my age right there.
You mentioned Benson. All
yeah.
right.
But I was Benson, but it was in a good way because I loved it. You know what I mean? The only discrepancy that happened was that during that time, my grandmother was given painkillers that she wouldn't take because they were so strong on her. And one day I had a headache and there was no time, and I took one of those painkillers, and it was a narcotic. So I felt a high. So now it came to a toxic thing where I was during the day taking care of my family, my grandmother, making sure her therapies were being done and all that. But at nighttime, I'm consuming her.
You're popping the pills.
I'm popping her pills because she doesn't want to take them.
Right.
She denies them because
she doesn't even know how many she got in there.
She doesn't care because me siento boba. And I would see her and she was like, no, I don't want to feel like that. Just give me regular talent. And that would work for her. And then I had that. So fast forward a little bit, my grandmother goes into remission. It worked. Amen. Everything that they told me wasn't going to work, worked. I fought hard, even to the point where I would force her to eat and she would send me to hell. She said, tú vas al infierno por forzarme a comer. You're forcing me to eat. Yeah. She's like, you're a terrible grandson. Why would you do this? I'm telling you I don't want this. And I would cry. I'd be crying, bawling, and telling her, you're going to live, and I'm going to make sure that you live. That's awesome. I'm going to make sure that you live. You're not dying on me yet. And she lived a few extra years, man. But right after she got better, here comes my father calling. They had just moved to Las Vegas. He took the whole family, packed them up, and moved them to Las Vegas. Bought a bunch of properties and started renting them out because it was still the housing boom was around that time. It was right before the bubble burst. Remember all that?
2008.
Yep. Okay. So they went down there in 2005, set up shop. They were doing amazing. But he went there with my mom and my two sisters who were teenage moms at the time, and he couldn't handle it. He went nuts. So he calls me and says, I need you to come over here and help me with this craziness over here. I was like, I'm not doing nothing of that, man. I just got finished taking care of my grandmother. Now it's me time. Now I'm going to go figure out what I want to do with my life. I think I
said they pull on you a lot too.
Yeah, the family thing.
It is the family, but they pull on you a lot. Because it's not because they just need somebody. I think it's more, from what I'm hearing, they trust you.
Yeah.
You could fix this.
I don't know about that. It's weird. Now that you say it, I think about it myself. Like, I went from get this kid out of here to bring him over here now.
Yeah, we need him.
We need him now. And I was like, dude, man.
It sounds like you're the anchor.
I don't know about that.
When you think about everything you just said, it's like you're the anchor.
And it's funny because at this stage of my life right now, the anchor is my sister Priscilla, which is the middle sister. She's the middle one. And she is my anchor right now. She is the one that, we're going through it with my mom right now because ever since my father passed, my mom has been going through it. But anyhow, so the old man calls me, you got to come to Vegas and help me. I don't want to go, bro. I really don't want to go. So that's when I took that hiking trip that I told you about with my friends.
Yeah.
So I took a 2-week hiking trip through the north part of North America, except, inside of the United States. Yeah. And it was glorious, magnificent. And it made me really think about wanting to move back to Chicago. But then I get the call again from the old man. And he's like, you're my son and I'm your father. And I'm telling you, I need your help. You need to come help me. I was like, all right, man. All right. My heart and the Latino guilt was pulling at me. So I packed my bags and I went to Vegas. So I went from Miami or suburbs of Miami to Las Vegas to go help my family out. And I was Benson again. My sisters wanted to go back to school and study and work. And they both had, 2 year, the kids were only like months apart. So they were 2 years old. So I was taking care of the kids, helping with the house, helping make dinner, shopping, the whole nine. Yeah, I did that for almost a solid year. And then I was like, I'm done. I want to go back. I came back to Chicago for a visit. And man, this city is like a drug, bro. It's in your vein. For me in particular, it's a hard one, So I said, I'm going to come back. And I came back. And I had swore off not wanting to work in the restaurant business ever again. I wasn't going to do it. And I was on the cusp of turning like 30 years old. And I had a friend whose family owns a restaurant over in Bucktown. And I needed some extra dough. I was working at the hospital over in Park Ridge at Lutheran General with a foot in the door job doing valet because I thought after taking care of my grandma, I felt like my calling was being a nurse. I felt like my calling was helping others through nursing.
Because you're doing a lot of it.
Yes, right. However,
from your sisters,
yes,
to your grandmother, to your father calling you to Vegas,
dude. Yeah,
you've been doing a lot of that.
Yeah, dude, a lot of that, a lot of guilting me into a lot of stuff. But I felt that maybe nursing was, and I knew that the money was good. I also felt like it was a recession-proof profession. You know what I mean? Medical field is always going to be in need. So I got this gig. Unfortunately, I didn't lose the gig. I left the gig over some discrepancies that I had with the corporate situation because I'm not good with corporate. And then while I was doing that job, though, I was working for that restaurant in Bucktown, Irazu, the Costa Rican restaurant. That family's very beautiful. They're great people. They took me in. Henry, the owner at that point, was taking over for his mom, Miriam. Donna, the sister, who's my good friend, she's the one that put me on. God bless her. I needed that. And it was awesome. And then when I had the issue at the hospital and I left, I called him up and I was like, dude, I'm done here. Do you have extra work? He's like, come on in. And again, victim of my own success because I really do love the restaurant business so much. And I love customer service and I love people. Like I genuinely love humans. Even the mean and nasty ones, there's something about turning somebody around into somebody nice.
About a $6 empanada.
I mean, yeah, I do. I really do enjoy them. I love them. I really do. I have love for you, bro. You know? Yeah. But so anyhow, 30 years old, back in Chicago, I left the hospital. And here I am back, and I'm full-fledged into the restaurant now. All aspects.
During all that, you had a child.
No, I actually didn't have a child till I was 38.
38 years old.
Yeah, I had a child at 38. I'm a late bloomer. I'm a very late bloomer.
Okay.
Very late bloomer. I was a very dorky, not confident man until my mid-30s. It wasn't until I reached 35 and a very special woman in my life that we were dating made me realize, like, stop it and start being confident in yourself. She made me realize that, the restaurants that I've worked, people come to see me, they're coming to see me. They weren't necessarily just coming for the restaurant. Yes, the food was good and, they like eating there. Yeah, I mean, that factor and that variable is very prevalent. But I also had a very huge factor in all of that. And I wasn't aware of that. Me, it's not that I was trying to be humble. I was genuinely thinking like, no, mofos are coming for the food.
They love the food.
Yeah, they love the food.
But they love the person that's making
I
the
love
food.
serving this food. I'm enjoying serving this food. I'm having such a good time. Really, it's just the energy and the adrenaline of the restaurant business that ultimately captivated me and made me fall in love. It is that opportunity that I have to finally be a horse with blinders on and be able to see one way instead of always every 10 seconds seeing a squirrel.
That's good.
So, the question again?
I lost it with the squirrel.
Yeah, me too. Well, there you go.
We're talking about your daughter.
So at 38, yeah. So I was at Irazu from 08 when I got back to Chicago. I got back to Chicago in 08. So from 08 to 2000, to the end of 2013, I was with Irazu. And then in 2014, I got hired by Big and Littles, and that's when I went and opened their location in Lakeview on Belmont and Kenmore, which no longer exists. And then I opened up their location over in Wicker Park on Milwaukee and Paulina, which also no longer exists. But I met my daughter's mother when I was at the Belmont location. I actually knew of her. She was in the industry too, and the owner used to frequent the bar that she was bartending at. It was a late night jazz bar. It was called Underground Wonder Bar. It was an amazing place. The irony of everything is I used to go out there and hang out in my drinking days, but she wasn't working the days that I would be there. But that was like my spot. I would be at Underground Wonder Bar all the time. But it happened to be that all the time I went, she didn't work there. There were occasions where I would see her there every now and then. So one day she walks in the restaurant, she's asking for the owner, and I was like, I know who you are. I mean, short, dark Puerto Rican with curly hair. Wait a minute, lo loco a mí, caballero. Forget about it. So I just started spitting game, and she was like, she was like, enough already. What do you want? I was like, I want babies. She's like, whoa. I was like, I want a family, I want children. She was like, relax. Why don't we go get coffee first? And I was like, okay. And then I think after that was like maybe 2 years later after that, we were dating hardcore. We were in a relationship. And then another 2 years after that, my daughter came along. And I was like, I picked very well. She's an amazing mother.
What's her name?
Ruby. My daughter or the mama?
Your daughter.
My daughter's name is Charlie. Charlie Rose. Yeah.
Charlie Rose, okay.
Charlie Rose, yeah.
How old is she now?
8 years old.
Oh, she's the love of your life right now.
She is.
She's so much fun right now.
My daughter is very interesting. We believe she's on the spectrum. We've done several evaluations, but we've learned the hard way that unfortunately girls are misdiagnosed. But yes, she's so much fun. She's completely the opposite of me. Teenage years are still to come, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth just yet or count my chickens before they hatch. But I was always told as a child, because of how like inquieto I was and how that you're going to pay through your kids. Wait, one day you're going to pay through your kids. Watch.
I think every Spanish
Yeah.
Latino person,
Bro.
parent, tells us
You're
that.
going to pay for your kids. And
I think I do with my daughter.
I have this wonderful young...
Love you, Leah.
Yeah.
Love you, Leah.
Yeah, my daughter is amazing. She's 8 years old and she's so smart. She loves the kitchen like I do, but she loves the baking aspect of things.
Okay. Look at
So
that.
yeah, she likes the kitchen. She likes to bake. She's become like a little film nerd like me.
Okay. All right.
She's become a film nerd, and now she's all about like the dates that things come out, the ages with the actors that were, and who, and her family members, and how old were you when that movie came out? And she remembers that, and then stuff like
That's
that.
dope.
So,
That's dope.
and the other really cool stuff about it is how she is advancing in school. We were very worried at the beginning of her social interactions with other children, and she loved parallel play so much that I was worried, more concerned that what was going to happen with her being on the spectrum and all. But I was told to us on the very first evaluation that the lady explained it the best way possible. And it was, I didn't believe her at the first, but she said, look, your daughter has some delays, but there's nothing that you need to worry about. What I see, and from my experience, is she has these delays, yes, but once she gets into an environment, the school environment, she's going to excel at such a rapid rate that she's going to be the star of the show. So she's getting to where she's going fashionably late. And when she walks in the door, everyone's going to embrace her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, you're just saying this to make me feel better.
But it
I
sounds
appreciate
great,
it.
and
It
I
sounds
love
great.
That's making me feel good right now. About
Bro, that's exactly how it went down.
Let's go.
That's exactly how it went down. My daughter's in school now, and they all want to be a part of her little crew. They are, and she's really cool about it. She's like, whatever.
I guess she's
all right.
doing all these cool things.
Yeah.
She's doing her pops.
Yeah.
She's like showing everybody, and they're like, "Oh,
It's-
you're interesting."
Man, but to get the text message or the emails from the teacher saying she's excelling at reading, she's excelling at math. When we were worried, is she gonna walk? Is she gonna talk?
Yeah.
And now to see her just doing so, that I wish I remember that woman's name, because I really would love to run into her again and just say thank you, and apologize for not believing.
She might just walk into the restaurant.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. I'd feed her until we roll her out.
Until we roll her out.
Until we roll her out. But
That's
yeah,
awesome. So now,
yeah.
today, how are we doing? How are we doing with the business? How are we doing with yourself? How are you doing with your self-esteem? How are we doing with just people that have left us, and we miss them sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But how are we doing in all? How is Omarcito doing today?
We are a work in progress. The light bulb is turning on. It was flickering, but now it's on more often than none, But I'm still learning as I go. I think I have a better understanding now than I did then. I felt like I knew then, but now I understand more so that I didn't know, and that I know even less now. However, I'm doing my best to navigate this thing called life in the best way possible. And I have my bumps and bruises, and I have my things that set me back. And I know what to do and not what to do. And I think that the journey that I'm in life right now, and I feel like maybe voicing it now could even help me out, but the one word that I've been very focused on, and the impact that it has in our lives as a human, is discipline. Discipline. I think that being raised as a spoiled prince child, even having a great work ethic as I do, I never really learned discipline. I just felt I work my butt off, I'm gonna get some dough, I'm gonna go live my life and do it all over again. And it's a vicious, toxic cycle that I put myself through for the last 20 years with that one. Not really saving up. I mean, it was really my daughter's mother when we were together who finally kind of put it and was like, yo, enough. Not many GMs make a six-figure salary, and not many GMs make a six-figure salary at a casual fast food place. But that's how valuable I was to them. That with the bonuses and everything, I had that kind of salary. And it was a glorious thing. We were able to live a nice life. We rented a house. We did things. We were enjoying each other. It was amazing. But there really was no discipline in my life, and there really was no good money management. So a lot of that stuff, I struggled a lot. But now, again, light bulb flickering. It's illuminating much better now. and I'm trying to navigate through that. So I'm on a journey. I don't want to say enlightenment, but one of my most favorite stories in the Bible as a kid growing up was the story of Solomon, and how when Solomon was in front of God, and God said, "You could have anything in this world. You could ask me for anything. I'll give you anything. Just like a genie, I'll give you anything. Make that wish." He simply said, "All I want is the wisdom to rule over my people." But the word wisdom always, because in Spanish it sounds so much better. Sabiduría. The way it rolls, the way it just sings, sabiduría. Sabiduría. Man, as a child, how that word would impact me. I can't explain it to you, brother. And I would ask my mom, "What does that mean? What's the significance of that word?" She said, "It's when you apply knowledge. You know something. You have knowledge. You could know things. But if you're still doing the same silly thing, expecting a different result, right? What does it say? You're insane or whatever they say. But when you apply it, now it's wisdom." And I think that's the thirst that I have within my internal self, is for that wisdom. Is for that wisdom. I want wisdom. I want to be able to finally apply the things that I know in my life that are going to be better for me and those around me, and the impact that I have. I'm on that journey. I'm on that journey. And it's difficult because I struggled with mental health too at the beginning of opening up this restaurant in a bad way. And then it's carried on over, and it's hurt me with relationships that I've had. You know, so here I am trying to do my best with it. Some days are good, some days are bad. Some days I take my vitamin D, sometimes I don't. Sometimes the sun comes out, sometimes it don't. But at the end of the day, I'm so grateful for this thing called life. As much as sometimes I get sad about it and blue about it, I heard all these stories as a kid about heaven and gold, and I'm like, I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that. I don't want that. To me, heaven is here on earth. This is heaven to me. The thing is, it's us as human beings who ruin it. The nature that God created, or evolution, whatever you want to believe, I don't care, it doesn't matter. The beautifulness of this, of the land, of the country, of everything, but it's us humans who ruin it. You know what I mean? And I think through what I do as a restaurateur, as a restaurant person, and my restaurant being an extension of my home, it's me simply wanting to send a message of love and acceptance and inclusion. Because growing up as a Christian, I felt judged. I felt picked at, and I couldn't understand it because I thought to myself the whole time, well, wait a minute, man. Jesus hung around with the crooks, with the hoods. Mary Magdalene, wasn't she a lady of the night?
She was.
And he was hanging out with her.
There was drunks too.
So in other words, what you're trying to tell me is, at the end of the day, Christianity accepts everybody, no matter what.
That's right.
Jesus and God's supposed to love you, no matter who you are, what you are. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's unconditional love. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yes or no? Yeah. So the irony of growing up in the Christian home and having that judgment always felt on me, I was like, something is not right here. This isn't working out. You guys are confusing me. Okay, and está mundano, este es mundano, que este va para acá, but who cares?
Can I ask you, was it a Pentecostal church?
No, Baptist.
Baptist?
Yeah. Baptist church.
You hear that a lot from
you hear that from the Pentecostals, yeah. But it's the doctrine side of things, you know what I mean? Yeah. I get the love for God and wanting to live for God and walk in Jesus and all that. I get all that. I understand that. But when that element puts you in a spot where now you're telling someone, no, I can't hang out with you. Oh, I can't be around with you. Nah, fool.
I can't wear that.
No, Joe.
I can't listen to that.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. That's not the lesson I walked away with.
That's not in the Bible.
That's not how it.
Yeah.
That's not what I feel in my heart. That's why I don't say I want to have a bone to pick with Christianity because of that, but that's the turmoil that I have in my own existence with it. Because
there's a lot of people that's been church hurt.
Yeah.
That's called church hurt.
Well, the doctrine was force-fed down me. and sometimes even with corporal punishment. So I rebelled. I didn't want to be in church. I don't want to go to church. Don't get me wrong. There are days where it calls me. Right when my daughter's mother and I had split up, I was a big Tony Evans fan. I don't know if you know Pastor Tony. Yeah, of course. He's had some controversy over money, as
everybody does.
Yeah. However, his sermons were always great, and they helped me a lot in that moment in time. I went through a dark period. When her and I separated was also the time I was trying to open the restaurant, and it felt like the dark cloud was just over me, and it was like relentlessly punching me in the face. Life was just punching me consistently, and I had to take it. And I had to tell myself, you're a Chicago kid. This is how it is. Get stole off, get your butt back up, and keep working. And if you get stole off again, get your butt up again and keep going again. Don't complain. Don't moan. Get your butt back in the game, okay? And I thought that I was good at it, but this mental health thing is not.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned mental health things because we talked about it earlier. Yeah, we did. And how me and Mike met each other up again. I would love for you to come visit us when we
I would love to.
Get together. It's about 30, 40 men.
I would love to.
We're chairs in a circle and we just talk.
Yeah.
We just talk and let it all out.
I love it. Well, you had it at the homie spot, man. Nikki Nitro.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, Nikki Nitro.
Nikki, yeah. You said Nicky. I never called him Nicky until you said it right
Nick,
now.
Well, because that's not what we call him. Nick.
You know,
Nick Nitro. Well, his sister is a very, very good friend of mine. It's his wife, and I was at the wedding. Okay. So I was at the wedding, but I somewhat grew up with that person, man. So so Nicky's part of that crew, and
Nicky's the one running it.
Yeah, my landlord sold him that venue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of connected in that way too. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But Nick does big things too, man. He's been involved in all.
Oh, Nick was here.
Yeah.
His name's up there on the wall. So he was here.
Yeah, Nick's good people, man.
I think his episode comes up next.
Yeah. Oh, where?
Oh, this Wednesday.
Oh, he was just here.
Yeah.
This is just recently.
If Alex finished it, finished editing it, it was Wednesday. Alex, did you finish it?
Alex, don't be late on it either.
But man, Omar, I've seen you. I've seen like your stuff on, like I said, social media and whatnot. I've heard. Now you're here in front of me, and I'm hearing you, and I'm seeing your heart, and I'm feeling your heart, and I'm feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling the passion that you have for what you do. And there was valleys, and it might be still some valleys.
Oh yeah, I'm in a valley right now. Don't let me fool you, man.
But
I'm in a valley.
Hilltops.
No, definitely. But the thing is, to me, it's not about seeing it that way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to see it that way. Life is life, man. Life is just life. You got to live it. Just live it as it comes, and
You do. But the hilltops are there.
Yeah.
So this moment that we might be, any one of us might be going through.
I'm at a hilltop right now with you right here, though.
There is the hilltop.
This is a hilltop,
Just
Joe.
letting it out and talking to another
brother.
brother.
I'm on a hilltop right now.
Loving that.
Bro, you're calling me to interview me. I was blown away. Like on the way here, I was telling friends, I was like, because they're like, Mondays everybody knows on my family and friends, I'm off. Mondays is mental health day. Like I told you, I went to go get a massage today.
You did.
I tried.
You got beat up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where I try to give myself, I'll go get a pedicure. I love the Sweat Lodge right here on Cicero and Addison, or the King Spa. My father was a big spa guy.
My mom loves that spa.
Yeah. My father hung out with all the gangsters at the Russian Turkish bathhouse over on North Avenue and Damon. No, the old one, the original on North Avenue and Damon, next to the Chop Shop. Yeah.
Because there was one on Division.
They're still there, but the original was on North Avenue.
Okay.
Right, so the old man used to go there a lot, and he used to go to Chicago Health Club a lot. The one on Fullerton and Cicero.
Yes.
And there was a steam room in there, so I used to go with him. So I grew up in that.
That was a Bally's, wasn't it?
That was a Bally's Chicago Health Club.
I remember going to my mom's.
But do you remember? No, you couldn't because
what
it was.
What do you mean, no? There was a Bally's right there.
Yes, but that Bally's on Fullerton by the dollar, where the dollar store is now, it was so small.
No, not that one.
Okay, that's the one I'm talking about. That was the one my father went to.
Across the street from Hangry's. It was right across the street from Hangry's was a convenience store.
Okay.
And right next to it was Bally's.
Yes. I think that might be the same one, but that one wasn't that when it was because it was so small. They alternated days for men and women.
I'm not sure. I know my mom said I'm gonna go work out. And when I was old enough to go go work out at Bally's. My mom was never working out. She was always in that.
Yeah, because there was another one by Fullerton and Sisters. And I remember my father. There was only one locker room, so it was a male day or it was a female day.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
that's cool. That
was either a male day or a female day. But anyhow, Papi loved the steam room and the sauna. That he always said that it was essential that you should always do it. So now, as a grown ass man, I enjoy it. I think it's. Listen, I try to tell all the homies about it. I try to get my sous chef, my sweat equity partner to go, but he's so old school Mexican.
Don't get it.
No, he's like, do I gotta be naked? I was like, not necessarily. You can put it. He's like, no. Are there other naked men? I'm like, so what, bro?
Don't look.
I'm not there to look. I'm
It'll
there.
be awkward if you do look, so don't do that.
But listen, that whole hot cold thing. When you go to sleep that night, it's like sleeping like a newborn, baby.
You know what? My friends we work out, and then they work out, and then they go into the sauna. And then they go take a cold shower real quick. And I did it once, and I was like, this is not for me. No. This is not
Swallow
for me.
it and do it.
Oh, man.
I do it on a rotation. Let me tell you, I go to the King Spot and I rotate. So I go into that big old oven that's 208 degrees, and I try to build myself up to 20 minutes. So if I can sit in there for 20 minutes, success, I go back out. I jump in the cold blast chiller that's right next to it, and I do that little rotation for a couple hours. Relaxing.
You do that for a couple hours?
Oh, I'm in there for like 4 hours sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I do that for a couple hours, and then I go into the bathhouse. And then you do that rotation with the hot tub and the steam room and the ice plunge. Brother, your circulation is so beautiful after that. I'm telling you, when you go home, you sleep so good. It's like I put the covers on it. Deja eso. The best, yeah.
Well, Omar, I want to thank you for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
I thank you for sharing, man. I think
this
is the first time we meet each other.
I'm
digging it. My intern's back there is probably like, I want to go home. He's like, I want to go home already. And we're just talking.
You know, and let me, before we leave, I was trying to say that, and I think I might have finished it, but my ADHD put me in a spot right now. But, you know, I just want people to know that what we're doing at my restaurant is really just, yo, man, I'm just trying to send that message of love.
Yeah.
It's for everybody. You know, I was trying to hire a brand manager at the beginning, and they were like, what's your demographic? I said, everybody. And it's like, you can't do that. You have to pick either 25 to 30.
They say that a lot.
Yeah. I was like, no. I said, that's impossible. I said, that's not impossible. It is possible. I was like, have you ever been to Maxwell Street at 2 a.m?
Woo, come on, somebody.
Have you been to Maxwell Street at 2 a.m?
Come on, Omar.
Everybody.
Yeah. Everybody's there.
If they can do it, I can do it.
Yep.
And I feel like I've accomplished that thus far. I have the millennials. I got the Gen Z, the Y, whatever you want to call them, the older heads. I even got the old Latinos who come in and complain about prices all the damn time, but they always want to come back and eat. And I love them. You know what I mean? Because I got to be able to have them there, which is what I wanted, you know? And one of the things that I wanted too was I wanted the chefs there. I call them the tweezer boys, you know? I know one of my chef friends didn't like that I said that, but I wasn't insulting them. It was just that you guys do everything with tweezers, you know what I mean? So you're the tweezer boys, you know? So, and I have them. They come to eat there with me.
Shout out to the tweezer boys.
Shout out to, well, you know, the tweezer boys are actually, they're rock and roll because they're doing things that I'm not. The creativity, the mind, the things that they're doing with food. You know, like Chef Juan Kim from Kimski.
Okay.
You know, he's one. I got Chef Zach from Gallet, who's a Michelin-rated star chef, comes to eat with me.
Come on, somebody.
His kids, that's his, and this is what he told me. It's his kid's favorite restaurant.
Word.
They come to eat with me there. And it's not for me boasting. It's just saying, this is what I wanted. This is the goal that I set out to do. And I'm achieving it.
Word.
Because I wanted to have these people come for food and stay for love.
Love that. That's a t-shirt.
Come for food and stay for love. Because
t-shirt.
Let me tell you something. That's all I want. I want you to eat my food, and I want you to feel the way I felt as a child when I ate it, that it made me so emotionally secure inside that I felt good. So I want you to feel that when you come and eat here. That's why I say, if you're not happy after you eat it, come up and tell me, and I'll give you the refund, because then I failed, and I don't want that.
Right. So, Omar, look at the camera and let them know your address.
The address is 3801 West Fullerton Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. However, the entrance is on the residential street, Hamlin. We're on the southwest corner.
Right.
You'll know it because you'll see the big, beautiful blue mural on the building. And then you'll see the Sade mural. And then I also put Ismael Miranda on the other mural, because that was my father and I's favorite salsa singer. And in honor of my father's passing, I wanted to have it there.
Word.
But there's the murals, there's the music. Listen, you know the address. I gave it to you. 3801 West Fullerton. When you get to 3801, don't go looking for it from the car. Park the car. Even if it's a block and a half down, I promise you, I'll make it worth your while. And again, I repeat, I'm not joking. If it's not worth your while, I'll refund you. I really will. I really, really will. However, park the car. Walk up to it. And when you get to that corner, I promise you, you're going to hear the music and you're going to smell the food. And if it doesn't captivate you by that point, I failed and I owe you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love the energy.
Thank you.
Love the energy.
I appreciate
Alex, can you
it.
do me that favor? So, Omar, I want to tell you that you, Mr. Have Flavor.
Ah, I love it.
You're supposed to switch the camera on him, right? You missed the whole thing. You missed the whole thing, bro.
Hey, he's so angry for having to be here so late. He slammed it in my hand. No, I'm just joking.
Just a flavor.
Thank you so
something
much.
from us, man. And we appreciate you being on the show and coming and sharing with us.
Love t-shirts.
What was the show size? If it needs to go smaller,
No, it's okay. We'll be good.
or bigger.
It's inspect the deck size, triple extra large. Wildlife rock stars who smash guitars.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah, man.
Well, this was Flava Podcast. Remember, Suli and Liz will be back, but we had a great time here with Omar. I think I got a new friend. I got a new brother.
Yeah, come eat now, man.
definitely.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the next one.
Los, thank you so much for having us here, man. Sorry to interrupt, but
go ahead.
I really wanted to just say thank you. It's humbling, these experiences that I've had thus far, and the recognition. It's not what I set out to do. So it does that make me cringe a little bit sometimes. There's a little child in me that is excited when it does happen, but at the same time too, I cringe because I'm like, that's not what I want. I don't want, some people sometimes will be like, oh, you're so popular. I was like, that's not what I want. I don't give a damn about no popular. I'm not here. I'm not a hype beast. I don't like shoes. I don't like fashion. None of that stuff. What I like is humans, and I like the interaction with humans and being able to have that opportunity for camaraderie and all that. So thank you for offering that to me and for gifting that to me. Very humbled and very grateful for you. Upset that you haven't eaten at the restaurant and you had me come on this interview without even eating there first.
But I will. Believe me, I will.
No worries. Thank you again, and thank you to everyone who listened. And I hope people come out and eat and hang out. And you're doing a great thing here. And very grateful for you. Thank you.
I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful that you want to give the people the love.
Yeah, man.
Amen to that.
Yeah, man.
This is your boy Los. We are out.
Peace.